The President of the United States is telling the world to release the hostages, and peace will come. In a stunning announcement, Donald Trump puts Hamas on notice, demands the release of hostages, and lays out a peace proposal that could change the Middle East forever. At the same time, CNN is cornering Chuck Schumer, exposing contradictions in his own words. And just as this unfolds, Apple pulls a controversial app tied to ICE attacks. These aren't just small headlines, they're live shifts in politics and global security happening in real time. Now, before we dive into what happened today, we need to understand the chessboard. The Middle East has been a powder keg for generations, and the current situation between Israel and Hamas is no exception. We're talking about hostages, men, women, some who've been held for months, some who tragically didn't survive captivity. We're talking about bombings that have taken civilian lives on both sides, infrastructure reduced to rubble, and families torn apart by violence that seems to have no end in sight. But here's what most people don't see in the evening news. Behind the scenes, there's been a quiet network of countries working overtime to find some kind of resolution. Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, these nations have been acting as intermediaries, hosting secret talks, carrying messages between parties that refuse to speak directly to each other. Think of them as the diplomatic equivalent of translators at a family reunion where half the relatives aren't on speaking terms. It's delicate, exhausting work, and for months it seemed like nothing was moving the needle. So why am I telling you all this? Because into this tense, complicated, almost hopeless situation stepped President Trump with a message the world could not ignore. And I want you to understand, this wasn't a carefully worded State Department press release. This wasn't diplomatic doublespeak. This was direct, blunt, and it came with a countdown clock. Trump took to Truth Social, his social media platform, and posted an ultimatum to Hamas that reads something like this: "Release all the hostages. Not some of them, all of them. That includes the ones who are alive, and heartbreakingly, the remains of those who didn't make it. An agreement must be reached by Sunday evening, 6 o'clock Washington time." Every country involved has signed on. And here's the kicker: if this last chance agreement isn't reached, all hell, like no one has ever seen before, will break out against Hamas. And he closed by stating that there will be peace in the Middle East, one way or the other. Now, let's pause for a second and think about what that means. One way or the other. That's not a threat whispered in a back room. That's a public ultimatum with a specific deadline and specific consequences. And whether you love Trump, hate Trump, or land somewhere in the middle,